And hello, New Hope family. I am Deacon Horace Holloman, and I am here with the lovely Victoria Weaver. How you doing today, Victoria?
I am great. It's been a wonderful Wednesday.
Well, blessings. Well, we're here to talk about a very serious issue, domestic violence. As we know, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we're going to have Victoria share a little bit about her background and her story of overcoming and perseverance. And so, first, Victoria, tell us a little bit about yourself. For the people that don't know, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, sure. So I am a proud country girl from Dublin, Georgia. I was born and raised in Dublin. Got my schooling there until I graduated from high school, and of course decided I want to be a teacher. So, went to college here, became a teacher, met my then husband in my hometown, and then ended up moving here to finish a few classes before becoming a teacher. So, early background, Dublin, and then after I became got my bachelor's degree, after I received my bachelor's degree, I decided to stay in Atlanta. Got a job with APS. I'm sure, yeah. Got a job with APS, Atlanta Public Schools, and became what I always wanted to be, which is a teacher. And then I got married to my son's father a couple of years after I received my first degree.
And so now, tell us a little bit about that relationship. Kind of what do you remember? I guess the earlier parts of it. How was that relationship early on?
Early on, it was rocky, but I persevered because I felt like we were a family after I had my first son. Because for years, I was unable to have kids, so I decided, hey, I'm trying to make this work. Even though I saw a few flags, I wanted it to work out for the family. And then a few years later, we broke up, got back together, had another son, and which came along, my baby boy. They were like 12 years apart. So at this time, I felt like he had changed. The earlier signs I saw, when you hear ladies say they go from 0 to 100, it changed, and it was like silent treatment, but no violence. So I stayed and tried to make it work.
So because there was nothing physical at the time, that made you feel like everything was okay? Or how were you feeling what were you feeling like during those times of, I guess, those silent moments or the silent treatment, so to speak? What was kind of going through your head during those times?
I think it was more like, well, Victoria's not bad. He's not hitting you. You guys are a family. You have your good days. And I guess I was just looking at the positives and ignoring the negatives. And since there wasn't any physical violence, I wasn't paying attention to the verbal. And I just let it slide. And then later, it became more serious. But it was just like so fast, like that one typical night. Before that, it wasn't no punching, beating. It was just, like I said before, the silent treatment, that disappearing, punching me like that.
Now, before the major incident happened, what were some of the things that were leading up to that? Can you kind of describe to me? I know you said early on with the silent treatment, but was it seeming like it was an escalation each time, or how was that process going?
I didn't look at it as an escalation because it was like we were like making it work. Like I was not making it work for the kids. So like during the week, like women, we get caught up with, oh, it's good. It's good for the most part. The weekend come, it would just escalate with you go in another room, you don't talk to me, or just, the words, the cursing, saying mean things to me. Maybe a push, but like I said, you ignore it all because you're thinking the big picture is, in your mind, I want this to work for my kids. I want my boys to have that mom and dad. There's always that, you want that typical family. from the time I was a little girl, I had this nickname, but from the time I was a little girl, I've always been family oriented. So I was just determined to make it work. Even though I saw that he wasn't, I still try to make it work. So women have to be careful about staying for the family. You think you stand for the family, and kids are flexible. Even now when I communicate with my kids say, Mama, why did you stay? Like, kids are flexible. So, and then the only thing that made me wake up was something tragic had happened. Something tragic had happened. But the funny thing is, though, Ms. Stars, I prayed for it. I prayed for something to happen.
And so tell us a little bit about that. I certainly love your story and how impactful it is, but for the audience that doesn't know, can you tell us a little bit about what happened and kind of what led leading up to that, like you said, that tragic event?
Yes. So, for the women and men out there, because it's not just women who deal with domestic violence situations, you'll get tired of ignoring it. And like for me, I got lost. I was lost in myself. Like I had no identity. So my son graduated May 2015. So I said, oh, I want to take my son on a cruise. That was for his graduation gift. So I told my husband. He wasn't gung-ho about it, but he said, okay. So I was excited. We had been on a cruise before. My husband and I, but my son had never been on a cruise. So when it came close to time to go, I wanted somebody for my son to hang with. So my godson, who I taught in middle school, he stayed at my house a lot. So I said, Robert got to go. So I have to have somebody to hang with. So I decided to take Robert with us. And they had so much fun, they like disappeared. But as soon as we got on the boat, my husband just stopped speaking to me. He's like, why did you have to bring somebody else? I said, this is our godson. He stayed at the house all the time. So I'm thinking it shouldn't have been a big deal. So he disappeared. From the time we got on the ship to the time for us to come back home, he disappeared. By the time to go, he called and said, where you guys are, we're checking out. So on that long ride back, so before we get to ride back, on the cruise, and I said I felt so empty. Because I felt my boys, they big, my godson, my son, they were gone. And Jeremy was 6, so I had to hang with him. So I'm hanging with Jeremy. He's having a good time, and I'm just feeling so empty. And I just kept asking myself, this was the name of my book ever, how did I get here? How did I get here where I'm so many miles away from home on a beautiful cruise with about 2 boys by this man, and he walked, I saw him one time with somebody, they walked by him like, he didn't even know me. And so that night, before we left, before the cruise ended, I prayed and I cried. I cried and I prayed. I said, Lord, I need you to do something where I don't ever have to go back through this. Because there were times where I would leave him. I would put him out. I let him come back. Put him out. I'm going to be a family, let him come back. But this night, I cried, I prayed, and I looked out the window of the ship, and I said, God, I need you to do something where I never go back. I'm so tired of this. I'm so sick and tired of being sick and tired. And then there was a notepad, and I wrote down, how did I get here? And I just jotted down some notes. That's the night before the cruise ended. That next day, we come back, on the way back from the cruise, from the Florida, from the port. We sat in the back and stayed not one with each other. My son and my godson drove. We just stayed not one. So we get back home, and I decided to take a nap. My ex-husband decided, he and the little one, they were going somewhere. They were going to move a friend or something. And so I took a nap. I woke up. I was like, okay, I feel fresh now. I'm watching a movie. I did it all the time. He was antisocial. So I said, I'm going to watch a movie by myself. So I went to Fairview, watched this great movie. And when I got to the car, I saw a missed call from my ex-husband. And he left a message like, where are you? Jeremy's sick. So of course I get scared. I'm in the car, I'm like, what's wrong with Jeremy? Where's Jeremy? Jeremy's asleep now. That's okay, I'm on my way. When I say this just as calm, I'm on my way home. I get home, I pull in the garage, He come out the garage door, meet me at the car, open the door. So what do? I reach down and I get the ticket. I just hit it to him. Showing you, there's the movie I saw all the time. And I just I'll never forget to look in his eyes. It was just this evil look. He didn't slap me, he didn't push me. I walked by, that's the last thing I remember. When I woke up again, I was in the hospital. And they were asking me, do you know why you're here? I'm like, no. And then I noticed, I said, I can't even move. Do you know why you're here, man? No. Oh, you've been shot. What? And that's what my husband shot you. And that was the story of my life. It changed everything. So from that point on, I was disabled for a while. I had to wear the halo. I never did regret that prayer. I always think about that prayer as I asked God to do something drastic. But I kept going back for years. My son was 17, so just imagine all those years I was in and out. Yes. And it did escalate.
And I know you mentioned earlier about the impact for the kids. You know, your kids asking, you know, why didn't you leave or things of that nature. And so, what are some of the things that you tell them now in terms of encouragement or just kind of making sure that they don't make similar mistakes? Because like you said, it can happen to men and women. So what are some of the tips of advice that you give to your children?
Okay, so for that one, my oldest son knew. So Alex was 17, so he saw the in and out. He saw how his dad would ignore me. He saw how he'll come home sometimes. Dad is another one. Dad again. But Jeremy was only 6, so Jeremy didn't know any of this. So Jeremy was, Mom, where's Dad? You know, so I couldn't tell him. So when he found out what really happened, he got older. I explained to him, and at first, I didn't think it would affect him because he was so small. Yeah. But then I had to think about it. That's the only dad he knew. That his dad, he remembers the good things. He remembers his dad taking him for rides. He remembers his dad taking him to go to Greg. He remembers the good things. Yeah. So it ended up bothering him later. But my oldest son and my youngest son, we talked about forgiveness. So I told him before I left the hospital, I forgave that man. I told him, I said, don't be angry. Don't hate him. And so, you know, they tried to fix it. And both of them decided, you know, they're not going to. And it's okay. Yeah, they forgave.
Yeah, that's understandable. And so for you, what was that journey like from, like you said, you prayed and God gave you an answer, probably not the answer that, you know, you might have been expecting, but he certainly gave you an answer. And so what was that journey like, both physically and spiritually, of just healing yourself? You know, tell me a little bit about that.
I got to be honest with you.
Go be honest. That's real Christian, real conversation, to be honest.
So, that was hard, because one, I had been on my job 20 years. My attendance was great. So, finding out that I was deemed disabled, and I had to wear this halo, my screws in my head. One, I went through embarrassment. Then, of course, I went through hurt, because I'm like, how do you be with somebody for that many years? I didn't even know he owned a gun. Yeah, and at that time, like I said, there was nothing physical. So I was in the confusion. I was mad at myself, like, well, if you would have kept going back, you would have been shot. And then on the other hand, I think, so camera so y'all can see, I said, you know what, I got to cross the bear. And for so long, I would wear hair to cover it up because I was so ashamed. So prayer, to tell you the truth, prayer, my family was the best thing that ever happened to me. So since I couldn't drive, I couldn't go up the steps. My room was upstairs. I couldn't go upstairs. I'm sleeping in the guest bedroom. My family moved in with me. Just how good God is. My family moved in with me and took care of me and my boys. My oldest son, I told him to go out to college, and he suffered silently. We went out to Savannah State and felt so alone. And I see why, because it seemed like I was just trying to. I didn't want him to see me doing all this stuff. Jim was sick, so my family played with him. My neighbors were so sweet, they couldn't get him, taking places, so he didn't see it. So when I say at that time, I was not a member of New Hope, but I was a member of this other church, Wings of Faith. And I was always strong in my faith. And that's what kept me from breaking. So I would pray. My neighbors who I didn't know, I didn't know my neighbors, they were coming over, praying, bringing Jimmy, feet up with the gym. My co-workers were coming over. I was in the hospital 10 days. And of course my family wanted to come and see me because I guess it's safe.
Yeah.
So, and I remember, you know, co-workers, my brother, they would let my co-workers come. My co-workers like family. I've been working with King so long. We like a family, so I remember them coming over. But prayer, family, more prayer, because I didn't even like taking the medicine. I was being so in pain. But just my faith, my family, love, and talking to God a lot helped me get through it. Most people ask, did I go through counseling? I took my oldest son through counseling one time, then he went up to college. The counselor said Jimmy was too young. Me, I was ready to go back to work. So I was like, I don't need counseling. I'm ready to go back to work and church. Because you know, for a while I said I was embarrassed, but I was a couponer, and I love what I do. Couponer and a teacher. I'll call my boss like, can I come back? Miss, you know you can't come back to work. You got to wait till I get something from your doctor saying. So and then the couponing, and so I would ask my sister-in-law, can you please just, you know, the shame was gone, and I was going to just please take me to the store. And I tried the couponing and the stairs. And then somebody walked over me in the grocery store, and hers, this would really help me. Because even though I was in the grocery store and I was trying to do a little coupon deal, this lady walked over and she said, and you're still smiling. This big old thing on my head. And she said, you're still smiling. And I told her, I said, God. I said, because I could have been gone. My kids could have been without a mother. Father gone for 25 years. Father gone, so they don't have a father, and then without a mother. So I was just thankful I was still here. Yeah. Thank you.
And New Hope is certainly happy to have you. And you seem like you're flourishing. It seems like you're in such a better space. And so tell me a little bit about the space that you're in now. You know, you did a lot of work and healing, and like you said, it's been a journey. And so how is your life now? How is everything going for Victoria now?
It's hard living my best life. Okay, so living my best life.
Yes.
And let me start with, like last night, First Lady did a father-daughter talk. Mm-hmm. And when I say, not bad memories, but when she said, instead of saying you went, something happened to you, rephrase it and something happened for you. Because remember I said I prayed that prayer. And so every time I look back at her, I don't have no regrets about that prayer. I don't. Because God put in my spirit as I lay there healing. He said, you won't see no broke days. And he said, your latter days will be greater than your former days. And when I say it has been, it has been. Yes, I got the cross to bear, but I'm just more at peace, knowing that, you know, I made better choices. New Hope, my son's coach invited me to New Hope because my son was on his team, wrestling team. I came one time, and been here ever since. That's been over 2 years ago now. New Hope became family like immediately. The love, the genuine love I felt, and then when Bishop allowed me to tell my story, I didn't do that in the other church, and I didn't feel some type of way about that, but I said, it's okay. Bishop allowed me to tell my story. And First Lady Bishop, so down to earth and loving my spiritual parents, I never look back. I never look back. And then the second thing First Lady said that really made me also think that, Vicky, you're right, you have no reason to look back. She said, remember, you're a thriver, not an overcomer. And I said, wow, because you know, after that happened, a few years after that happened, I used to post, anniversary 1, I got shot a year ago. Anniversary 2, I stopped doing that, like I think after the 3rd year. I said, I want to relive that. No anniversary. So she said, thrive. I said, yeah, I didn't overcome that. I've thrived from that. Because I've been speaking to other people. My book, I just give my book away. And then the proceeds, I would just take books and just give them to the women's shelter. So, and like on this occasion, any books that I sell, I'm going to just donate the money to the church. Because I know we're trying to pay our church off in less than 2 years, and we're going to do that. So, yeah, the proceeds going to New Hope. So, yes, I'm a thriver, and I appreciate the love the prayers, the platform First Lady and Bishop allowed me to have to speak to people. That's all I want to do. I want to make sure I give back, because some people didn't make it out. That's the sad thing is some people didn't make it out. And secondly, we feel like we have to stay because you're embarrassed. You're a teacher. I was a teacher of 20 years at that time. 30 years this year. 30 years. But I cried this week when I saw that deputy was shot. And I saw that when they mentioned the restraining order, and she said go from 0 to 100. It came flashing back. I was this man used to go from 0 to 100, and I should have left. So some people don't get to tell the story. So I'm so thankful, and I pray that I get to save lives, whether it's men or women, because men are abused too, or domestic. So I hope I just awaken people and know that there's a way out. Like I should have left a long time ago, and this wouldn't have happened to me, but I thank God I'm alive.
And we thank you so much for sharing your message, as you said and mentioned, and we appreciate it, and we hope that it's blessed somebody. Before we wrap up, any final words that you want to give to our audience? Anything else that you wanted to say?
Yes, the scripture to live by. So as I wrote my book, and I'm sorry, I have a copy with me. As I wrote my book, how did I get here? The verse, the scripture that stood out for me, Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you. So all those times I kept thinking I was nothing, I was nobody. Embarrassment, shame. God kept putting that scripture in my spirit. Because He does. He knows the plans He has for me. And it's to touch lives. Bless somebody else. And I pray that if anybody's going through, you can call. There's a 1-800 hotline number. You can call me. My email address, we post it. On my book, I have my phone number. I would love to have a talk with you, answer any questions, just as transparent, any way I can help.
Wow, that's so good.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for giving me this platform.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming by and telling your story and having a real conversation with us. And that's what this platform is all about. And so again, thank you so much for your time.
You guys are so, thank you guys. October, of course, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, yes. But Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Please reach out. Don't sit in silence, because it could escalate and you won't be able to tell your story. So anybody that needs help, please reach out to me or the 1-800 hotline. It's okay. It is okay.
All right, guys. Well, that has been Real Christians, Real Conversations. We loved the conversation and thoroughly enjoyed it. We hope you did too. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we will see you next time. All right. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.